Woohoo! Welcome everyone to the December Evergreen Cataloging Interest Group. I am Jennifer Weston. We are recording. I am the facilitator of this fine group, and it's nice to see so many of you here in December. Thanks to everybody on the organizing committee who is also here. So again, feel free to turn on your microphones to join the conversation whenever you want to, or just continue to pop notes and chat would be fine. You'll notice we don't have a very formal agenda, but it's so nice to virtually see your names there and to have a small little gathering here in December and at least be able to wish you all a happy holidays. I will go over just the regular agenda here. We have some general updates. And then I've just got, what year-end ponderings? Let's just take year-end ponderings on there. Got some just year-end ponderings here. I think in January is when I usually do kind of a year-end review to where I just put out the simple document that summarizes the things that we did the year before. So I didn't try to get that in place for this month. It would just get lost in all the busyness of the season. But we'll just start with the agenda here. And then if there's anything you want to talk about, we have tons of time as we go along. If not, we can finish early. That's certainly okay. But since we have a great group of brilliant minds here, and I should say if anybody's here new, I should welcome you. I get used to seeing all of your names, but if there's anybody new, please feel welcome to join us every month. We meet second Tuesdays, typically. So starting with the welcome and announcements, there's my standing call for anybody that wants to help with the wiki, and I have done nothing in the last 2 months. I am hopeful 2023 will be the year that we can overhaul our wiki, but that's on my New Year's resolutions for real this year. Anyway, there's a link to the wiki if any of you haven't found it or looked at it lately. It looks pretty much the same as it did back in the summer. Anybody wants to work on that with me with a project and hold me accountable, that would be great. Just send me an email. We can start working on that in January. I did put this note about our January meeting up at the top because I didn't want to forget. Normally we do meet on second Tuesdays, but there's several conflicts in January. So we moved it to what is now the third Tuesday in January. It'll be January 17th. I'll send out several reminders between now and then, but if you want to put that on your calendars in advance, please do so. And then moving along, let me ask, is the font on this big enough as it's sharing? Can you see this, or do I need to enlarge my screen? Looks good. Okay, I got looks good and a little bigger, so I will make it just a tad bit bigger. How's that? Okay. All right.
Yes,
anything,
that's better.
That looks better. Okay, fantastic. We'll go with that. So let's start with Evergreen release notes. Since we were last together in October, 3.10 came out and 3.9.1. Both of these came out in November. We will find time in early 2023 to look at the new features in each of the new features in 3.10 and then look at the bug fixes that were included in 3.9.1. Today's not that day, but we do want to celebrate that has happened and put links there to release notes, just another way to get to those. Of course, the announcements go out to the general list and you will have seen those already, but we did want to share that. I will also confess the tabular release notes are not completely updated. They are updated with 3.9.1. So if you're using those as a reference point for what's in new releases, I have not updated it with 3.10 yet. I will do that before the end of the year, and that's my promise to you. And I will I'll let you all know, but I'll put it out on the listserv as well. So I'll put it to the community catalogers list and the general discussion note, general Evergreen discussion list when 3.10 is added. But 3.9 is there. And if you haven't looked at it lately, one of the nice things about the tabular release notes, in addition to being able to look at just one tab per release there, so 3.8 and 3.9, obviously on different tabs, is that you have links to the Launchpad bugs that you can see more about the work that went into the different new features and the bug fixes that are out there. Check those out. I have updated our wiki, though, at least with the latest release notes, so that if you're looking for a quick and easy way to see what the latest release is, in addition to going to the downloads page on the Evergreen website, we keep track of that on the cataloging wiki as well. So that's what the latest releases link is there. And it goes all the way back to some of those that aren't even supported anymore, but recognizing that some libraries and some institutions may be on some older versions, so that we have links, again, going back those that are no longer even getting security fixes. But anyway, so latest releases is just one more place you can find out what the latest releases are. Of course, we have links to Evergreen official documentation. One announcement, the community demo server has been updated to 3.9.1. So that is available if you want to just check out the new things that were added to and fixed and modified for 3.9.1. You have an avenue available. If your library is not yet on 3.9, feel free to use the community server to test that out. The link there for community servers will take you to the Evergreen wiki, which will have information about how to log in. So everybody's welcome to use that login. There's an admin login there, and it gives you a little information about how to access that demo server. And our last general update before we get into just kind of general conversations is from the working group subcommittee updates. And we do have an official working group that is meeting monthly, and that is the authorities working group. And Darcy is with us and has agreed to give us an update on what's going on in the authorities working group. Take it away, Darcy.
Thank you, Jennifer. Can everyone hear me all right?
You sound great.
Okay, great. Yes, I'm Darcy Nebergall. I am a cataloging librarian at King County Library. The authorities working group members are Jessica Efron at the State Library of North Carolina, Elaine Hardy at Georgia Pines, Mackenzie Johnson at University of Prince Edward Island, myself at King County, and then Jennifer at Equinox wrangles us all. We've met 3 times now. We've been meeting through the fall. We started out kind of compiling some documentation about what authority control is and why it's important. We've talked about some of the pain points related to authorities in Evergreen. We've reviewed some of the Launchpad bugs related to authorities. And in the month of November, we had the demo server at our disposal. So normally that data are refreshed weekly, and we asked them to put a pause on that so that we could load some bibs and authorities and kind of play around there. At our meeting last week, we discussed our findings from what we learned having that demo server. And some of the things we found were things you are all probably familiar with, like manually controlling or linking a heading can wipe out the indicators or the punctuation or any subfields after the A. And it also didn't appear that the nightly linker was working on the demo server. So we'll continue to test there even with the weekly refresh. But some of the other things that our working group would like to continue working on is to compile a data set to add permanently to that demo server to make it a little more robust. We're also looking for a member of the Evergreen community to host our own demo server. I've already asked the folks here at King County, and there is interest in doing that. I think also Mackenzie and Jessica were going to ask at their institutions if that was possible. So we may have news about that soon. We're going to continue investigating authorities related work that other Evergreen libraries have done, and also seeking out documentation that other Evergreen libraries have already created, and work with DIG on updating the official documentation. We're using a shared Google folder right now, but in the future, we would like to create a wiki to document our activities, and the wiki might include things like a glossary and potential authorities workflows, an FAQ, and links to other resources like training and vendor websites. We're hoping soon at one of our future meetings to invite Mike Rylander and Bill Erickson also to kind of talk to us about sort of the behind the scenes stuff that a sysadmin would know that a cataloger might not know. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Please, I guess, pipe up with questions or feel free to email me. I can put my email in the chat. And thank you.
It's a great update, Darcy. Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Darcy? Anything you want to make sure the authorities working group knows that is of concern to this group? Darcy has put her email in there. Thank you. And you can also, of course, just send messages to the community list, the catalogers listserv about anything authorities related, and we'll be monitoring that as well. This is not an exclusive group. If anybody is interested in joining the authorities working group, please let me or Darcy know, and we can provide you with our meeting schedule and add you to our own little informal emailing group there so that we can make sure that we share this information. Even if you just want to drop in and see, kinds of things we're talking about, if you can't commit to meeting monthly, but you might want to meet from time to time and you like to be kept up to date on what we're doing, just let us know and we'll add you to our list. Seeing no questions at this time. Jessica, I know that Darcy said that King County might be interested, and Jessica, I think you said NC Cardinal may be also, so we may have
yes, and
yes.
Cardinal did express interest.
That's fabulous too. I love this. So I guess next steps, maybe we'll just meet in next time we get together. We'll talk about that, where we want to go with each of them and what it might mean to have a demo server up. Because at that point, we might have more information about the concerto. Okay. Thank you. Jessica, anything you want to add to that list too? Now that I've introduced you.
No, I think that was a really thorough description of what we've been up to and what we're trying to do next. So thank you.
I agree. It was great. Maggie asked a question. When do we meet monthly? That is a very, very good question. And if Jessica or Darcy could find our notes so that I don't just bumble around and show everybody my screens here while I'm doing that. We've already got them. Thank you. January 4th, February 8th, and March 1st, which would mean we are meeting on first Thursdays. Thank you for asking the question, Maggie. And we keep track because at this point, all of us except Elaine and I are on the same time zone, but I guess that's not true. There are three of us that are on the East Coast, but then we cover a lot of different time zones, including Atlantic and Pacific, which I love about this group. So we're spread across the continent. And I can publish those in the notes too about when our next meetings are. I'll make sure I add those.
Actually, that's a Wednesday.
See, I knew you would catch me. I need to turn my calendar to 2023. You are right. Thank you, Jana. I know that voice anywhere. We meet on, for the record and clarification purposes, we meet on first Wednesdays, January 4th, February 8th, and March 1st. The dates are correct. It was just me that was wrong about the day of the week. Okay, let's move on before I can get anything else correct there. Celebrations, we'll celebrate new releases, even though I don't know if any of them are here, but thank you very much to the release team who made that happen. So Jane Sandberg, Michelle Morgan, Tara McKenna, and Galen. I did want to celebrate that in October, and again, it feels like months and months since we've got together, but in October, we did participate in Hackaway, and I've got notes further down for our program if we want to look at the item status screen improvements. But I was thrilled that we were able to sponsor a discussion during Hackaway. I know Hackaway tends to be a little less structured, but we decided as an interest group that it would be a good time as people were joining in the conversations with Hackaway, because it's just an easy and free and online way to come together as a community, that we would sponsor a very specific conversation with catalogers around a topic that was advertised in advance. And this time we looked at the item status screen improvements and kind of brainstormed what we, just kind of what our wish list items are and some things that we'd really like to see, and what there's some kind of low hanging fruit that we'd like to ask for. And then some other things that are just, big wish list items. Again, there are links to that further down the agenda. But we did have 27 people, and many of you were there. So thank you to those people that did join. And with the success of this, I think we will pursue this again in the future. So when there is a Hackaway announced for the community, we will ask if we can just have an hour or two to have a specific time to host a discussion for the cataloging community and invite anybody else that's participating in the Hackaway, developers, sysadmin, circulation folks, everybody else to come join in if they would like. So thanks for those that made that successful. Continuing with celebrations, the Evergreen Conference has been announced. I know we've said that several times now. I put the official dates in the agenda here now. And again, this agenda will turn into our notes. Actually, it already is our notes. And it's in, let me try this, Worcester, Massachusetts. So thanks to CW Mars, who is hosting that. There is a link there to the conference website. And that's been announced on the general list already. I will say that next week, I believe the program announcements are going to be made available so that you can see the different sessions that will be offered during that time. So you can make your decisions about attending and then start any kind of approval process you may need. Registration, I believe, will also open next week. So there should be more information about that coming out. Having seen a preview of all of the program submissions, I can say I am very happy that there are quite a few cataloging related sessions that were submitted and will be presented at the conference this year. Thanks to many of you that are here today that have submitted sessions, and some of them are recurring because they are just that popular. And I'm looking at you, Elizabeth, about your book bags, baskets, and buckets. And some of them we hope that will be recurring. And Kate, I'm looking at you with your, let's talk about how great cataloging is and what everybody should know about cataloging, even if they're not a cataloger. So that will be there this year. Again, look for that list of announcements, and I really hope as many of you as possible can be there. For those of you that cannot, we will have we will not meet in April, but in May, we will have a review of the conference and share many of the sessions. Well, links to the information that was shared in those sessions, and have kind of a follow-up conversation with the rest of the community in May. And we will look to repeat some of those sessions, as we often do, later in the last half of the year. We'll come together as an interest group, of course, and Elaine will lead us one last time at our interest group session, the annual session there. Okay. We will talk more about conference planning, what we might want to do as a group, as far as just fun stuff, too, as it gets closer to the conference time, including making t-shirts. I really, really want cataloger t-shirts this year. And I really, really, really want opportunities to celebrate the cataloging community while we're there. And yes, Kate, I want cataloger ribbons too. And do you know, okay, I don't want to spoil surprises, but there may very well be cataloger ribbons that were prepared a couple of years ago when we were shut down and did not appear in public. So I have a suspicion that I can find those cataloger ribbons, and we'll have them in April because we are special, darn it. Okay, so anyways, we can celebrate, get together. You just let me know what your ideas are, and we will start working in January. Okay, moving along, Catalogers Connect. I am not sure if every interest group really is meeting in December but these would be the dates they normally meet on. So if anybody is here representing any of these interest groups and you want to provide an update or about any of these scheduled times, just let me know and I will update the calendar here. Well, it's not a calendar. I will update the table here. Looks like most of these groups are meeting or have already announced their January meetings. And I didn't have anything new to announce from any of these. I just leave the notes in there that DIG's working, of course, on ongoing documentation review. They're looking specifically at library settings. So if you're interested in helping with that, or if you have documentation on your own about library settings, or you're looking for documentation about library settings, please contact the DIG group. Outreach Committee is always looking for volunteers, especially social media contributors, because if you or follow any of the social media for the Evergreen accounts, you'll know that it's not something that's heavily used, but we'd like to make sure that we are paying attention to the things that go on in the community, and we can get them out in as many different channels as possible. So if you're interested in participating in that way, let us know. We do have one or two people that have joined the Outreach Committee lately, and we appreciate that, but we can always use more help. And I left the list there for the reports interest group in the sample reports page. This is one of those things that's on our wish list, and that's further down too, is to start providing more cataloging related reporting information, whether we do that through training or we just kind of share reports that we have created. So we'll be working with the reports interest group in 2023, doing some cross promotion and some just working together to collaborate on doing exactly that, putting together sample reports that are related to cataloging specific activities. Okay, moving along, Launchpad bugs. These are just our regular links to the full list of tags and the wiki that's there. Again, this is always a good time while we're together. If you just want to hop out and look at Launchpad bugs that have tags of new or cataloging or staff catalog, feel free to do that while I'm talking today. There is a reminder, this came up in October, that the staff catalog blocker tag is created specifically to tell for us to tell the community if there are very specific things that we cannot work around currently without the traditional catalog. So if there are activities that you're doing, and the only way you can do that in Evergreen is go back to that traditional catalog view, we need to make sure there's a bug in Launchpad to recognize that, document it, and then make sure it gets that tag on it, the staff catalog blocker. This is so very important because as the new release teams come along and as the development continues, there is going to be a desire to do away with the traditional staff catalog at some point. We want to make sure we've documented all the reasons. Well, I'm not going to say that phrase. We're going to document all the things that we're still using it before it ends up on the chopping block, so that we can make sure that the functionality we need is in place outside of the traditional catalog, and we put it in the new Angular staff catalog. I gave a couple of examples there. There are currently 10 bugs that are documented. We talked about these a little in October, and I only know that because we take really good notes. My memory's sure not that good. But 2 of those things are you can't get to more, you can only get to 5 facets in the catalog and the Angular staff catalog. So you have to go to the traditional if you want to see that. And we've lost the Angular staff catalog does not have the functionality to do the clear added content cache. We have to do that through traditional catalog. So just a couple of examples. So as you're discovering this in just your day-to-day workflow, if you find you're going to the traditional staff catalog, just make sure that you check Launchpad and make sure that's represented there. Or that you add a new bug, or you just send a note out to the list and somebody will certainly add that bug for you. Okay, there's my long introduction and general updates. So now we're down to whatever you want to talk about. I will say that I've left the notes here for this October Hackaway. I mentioned that we had a really good discussion about item status screen improvements, which was on our wish list to do this year. So I'm glad we had that conversation. So check that out, and we can do that if there's not anything else that comes up today. So kind of just put that in place. General just questions to pose to the group here. What kinds of topics or programs you'd like to see in 2023? And then we can take those back to the organizing committee and start planning for you for next year. And of course, as always, if there are any bugs that are bugging you, that you want to add to our list, we can do that. I did leave all the notes from October down below so that the agenda looked really long, but I didn't want to lose those. If there's anything we wanted to revisit this month, since we have some time, those are just our notes about the bugs we looked at last month, the last time we were together. So I will stop talking and see if there's anything you want to talk about before I just open the item status screen document.
This is Mary Bibliomation.
Hi, Mary.
I just wanted to report about a local victory that's going to be shared with the community soon. Our Jessica has been working with some of the problems in the holdings editor, and this week in the last 2 weeks, she's addressed the problem with the duplicate barcode. It gave you notification, but it didn't prevent you from writing the item. So I think she's addressed that. And as of today, she's fixed the use check digit issue. So that now works. When you check that box for use check digit, it reports that if it's an invalid check digit, and it won't let you write the item or save the item. So
Nice.
those were important to us. So I'm sure that fix will be released soon to the general community.
Very, very nice. How would you summarize the first one I was typing, Mary?
It was the duplicate barcode. It notified you, but didn't keep you from saving the item. So it now stops you from saving an item with a duplicate barcode.
Okay.
So
Great news.
she's now looking at some issues with the holdings template. We've discovered that well, first of all, there's that known bug about exporting. I found that if you apply a template, then that one template will be exported, which is not ideal, but at least it's something. But we're having problems with our stat cats not being included in the templates. If you create a template in the holdings editor, it's not keeping them. And if you export a template that did have the stat cat in it, and re-import it, it's not coming in with the stat cat. So that's kind of a problem for us.
Okay, just trying to capture all that.
Yeah, so she's looking into what she can do to fix that. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Well, our thanks to Jessica at Bibliomation.
Can I ask a question about the holdings template bugs that you are referring to?
Mm-hmm.
We're having the problem where when we export the templates, you can only import one at a time. It only imports one.
Right. That's what I mentioned a moment ago, probably not very clearly.
Sorry.
There's a bug ticket about that, and it's saying it's only exporting the first in the list. But I found that if you pick a template and apply it, and you do export, it's still only sending one, but it's sending the one that you've applied. So that's interesting.
So if you import that one, it'll only import that one.
Right.
Okay.
I think of it as only exporting. It's importing what's in the file. So it means it only went out the door with one template.
Oh, okay.
Is this in 3.9?
Yeah.
Okay, because it used to import everything.
Yeah, that and it
now-
still does with the admin version of template editor. It still works the way we want it to. But in the holdings editor, it's only exporting one. And I found a way today to tell it which one to export. If you didn't pick any, normally behavior we expected would be the whole list would go, but it was only exporting the first one on the list. Today I played with it and found if I applied a template and then hit export, at least that particular template is the one that goes out the door.
I'm sure I want that fixed. Because currently, there's no way to just do one in one. That's a way to do one.
That is one.
Well, it was just new light shed on the problem.
It really is.
Because I mean, that's something that we've wanted for a while, is to be able to import or export rather a subset of your templates. So if somebody just wants for the children's collection, you can give them that one instead of all of
Yeah, but just that one.
Yeah, but see, that's what we want. We want to be able to do all and one. So,
well, I think I found you can do one, but I will in my documentation in my library, I will discouraging them from doing template management within the holdings editor. I think they should stick to the one in admin.
Well, and that's a conversation we've had too, right? Is to try to convince the community to keep both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't take the admin one away from us, and don't break it.
Don't.
You know,
it took us.
If they angularize it, they'll break it.
It took us so long to get that admin one, so we didn't have to open an item to create a template. To have it taken away from us would be horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if they can figure out why the holdings editor one is broken, then it makes me feel easier about it when they go to put the admin one in Angular, because I'm afraid they're just gonna break it at the way things are right now.
Okay, I think I've captured all of that.
But the stat cat thing is a source of agita to me.
Of course, I mean, stat cats are meant to be part of a template. I mean,
Exactly. And for us, we use the stat cats to generate reports we send to our state libraries. So it's really important that all our items are set up with the stat cats. At least it's now back to being required. So they can't say that if they didn't fill it in, but it would be a source of annoyance that I had to keep touching that field.
Well, Anita says it's not also applying prefixes either, so, in the chat.
Yeah, that one I wouldn't know about. We don't use those.
Yeah, I don't think that's been fixed either. Let me put that note
Updates
in
on the
here.
alert bugs. I think
it was fixed, right?
so. I think that's in the release notes. I haven't tested it yet. We've been having some issues with our server. So yeah, it fixes an issue where creating new copy alerts notes and item tags fail for brand new copies.
Oh, I forgot. That's the other thing Jessica fixed. The item tags. They were not scoping to just the library that owned the tags. She's got that fixed too. So item tag ownership, scoping to owned item tags. So that's another thing she'll be releasing soon.
Very nice.
That was a major one for us because our libraries use a lot of item tags, and it was distressing to go and open the item tag in the holdings editor and seeing all the libraries tags that had matching terminology instead of just your own. So it's really glad she got that done. So I think Andrew just said something about a release.
Yeah, I was just finding the bug that Andrea put in chat. That was the one that was released to Andrea. I hate to just sound like I'm ill informed, but is 382 out? I'm having a day.
Well, you're having a day, but I couldn't find the unmute button. I don't think it is.
Okay.
I mean, at least it's still listed as fix committed and not released on that bug.
Okay.
I thought it was. It might just be that somebody hasn't updated Launchpad, but
Mhm.
that would be a question for the community developers because I don't know off the top of my head. I should.
Well, I was, when I was, hastily preparing the agenda, I looked at, for release notes and they weren't there. And then I looked at document thinking, gosh, I really did think 382 is out, but
Me too. But it hasn't been marked that way in Launchpad.
okay.
So
We'll research that.
Yeah, we're just jumping right over 3.8, going from 3.6 to 3.9.
Yep.
We've got now, since things our chief problems seem to be on the mend, we are looking at migrating to 3.9 in probably early spring, maybe late March, early April.
Okay. Fantastic. I'll be anxious to hear as people do migrate to 3.9. I'm sure we will hear about how it's going. I'm checking out this bug that Elizabeth put into chat. I don't want to skip that one. Oh, that was the one about the only imports one template. Yeah.
Right. I wish we weren't losing the ability to edit item notes. That's how it used to be in Zool, and in AngularJS and 3.6, we can add a note and then edit it if we want to, and then we're losing that.
Mm-hmm. Didn't realize that.
Yeah, I think isn't there a bug about that? Is that one of the ones they fixed?
Well, I haven't seen any fix yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since we can edit notes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they fixed the one to correctly delete item notes.
Right. You can delete, you can add, but there's no more editing.
Mm.
If you don't like the note you wrote, you have to kill it and create a new one.
Mm-hmm.
Or just leave the typo.
Yeah. Well, in the the fix that makes StatCat visible in the OPAC when the checkbox is checked,
Mm-hmm.
they they don't display at the item, they display at the top of the holdings list. I mean, we're in a consortium at the top of the list, so there's no indication we even know what library. And Taryn's looking into that because I think that came out of the new dev.
Yeah, that sounds less than helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be fixed soon.
I was just seeing Andrew's up note in chat that it doesn't look like 382 is officially out yet. Stay tuned for more information about that. Okay, we can take a look at 391 and see if anything else was fixed that we want to. Let's do that. Look at the tabular release notes. Bumpy. Let's see what might be on 391. So 391, Angular editor is now used when accessed from items. Okay, so we were getting different screens depending on where you were trying to access the editor, the holdings editor.
Right.
Now we should consistently get the same one, at least from item status and item buckets.
How about record ID searching and TCN searching? Still takes me to the old one.
Ah, has that been reported back to them after this?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I've been living with it, and our libraries tend not to use that search, so it's more of an issue for me, I think, than them. But I've just wondered if that was on the radar, as long as they were fixing access from other places.
From where?
From record ID searching and TCN searching.
I don't think I have that issue in 3, whatever version we're on.
I'll have to double check in 391 if that's still an issue for us. It's been a long time issue for us in 3.6, so I'll have to double check myself now that I'm saying it out loud.
We'll check it out. But did it say that? It means other people, I'm sure, have encountered it too. Okay. Holdings editor.
Those
now
are my favorite searches.
Oh, mine
from
too.
a
Absolutely.
management point of view.
Yeah. And when I'm training, that's what the first thing I'm like, learn TCN is the best way to get to the exact record you want when you need to talk to somebody else about it.
I picked record ID because sometimes the TCN will change and we've overlaid it with
That's true.
a new OCLC number.
Yep. Absolutely. If you're doing OCLC, very good point.
Mhm.
All right. The holdings editor is now enforcing required stat cats. We mentioned that already, so we can make them required for real. We had fixes an issue where creating new copy alerts and notes and item tags failed for brand new copies. So there again, we can create new ones. Not editing. We've talked about that already. Fixes several bugs preventing item notes from being correctly deleted. Again, we talked about that. So we got add, we got deleted. It fixes regression that required a call number label to save an item, so that's no longer required. But there's a library setting that controls it. For anybody that's not using call numbers, I suppose.
What about creating empty call numbers or just editing call numbers? I'm getting the whole, well, if I just limit my default to just show me the call number, I'm still getting a box for barcode, so it wants an item. And if I'm using the unified thing, I get all the fields. Where I'm used to in 3.6, I just get the call number field so I can fix it and save and exit and not have the whole thing.
That's I've noticed that too, that if you're trying to edit the call number, it shows too much.
Right.
And it's real easy to make a mistake.
Right.
Editing the call number needs to just show the call number.
And
but I have not.
Creating an empty call number, that doesn't seem to work either.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I haven't.
Yeah.
Since they fixed the transfer where you don't have to create an empty call number, I haven't had an instance where I've had to.
Oh, all right. I guess I didn't realize that was okay now.
Yeah.
So it's just picking up. If you wanted to move something from one call number to another, it just will take that one barcode and take the call number with it. What's it doing?
Yes. Yes, it does. You have to make sure you're picking the right transfer option.
Okay.
Because you have to mark the library, and then
Right.
you have to do transfer item.
Okay.
And you also have to just check that item so that
This is kind of like it was working before. Or it would create a call number and the item, and people told me that was a bug. And I said, I just want to move the item, and then the call number follows along, but doesn't take both items.
Mhm.
And I was told at that time that that was a bug. And so then we went into this where we had to create the empty call number and transfer and all that stuff. So I'm delighted to hear we're kind of stepping a good step backward.
Yeah, well, it originally you had to create the item. I mean, the call number very long time ago.
Well, maybe in Zool you did, but for a little
Mhm.
while before 3.6, I was able to just transfer the item and not have to deal with creating a call number because it just did it. And I was very pleased by that and was dismayed when we lost it in 3.6.
Yeah, I don't, the transfer now, you have to really make sure you're choosing your destination,
Yeah.
either record or item in the correct place, and that you're choosing holdings versus items correctly
Right.
to move.
Right. Yeah, it got trickier.
Yeah,
I
it's
had
a
to
little
redo
tricky.
my documentation. So if
Well, yeah.
3.9 is eliminating that extra step, I'm going to cheer.
Yeah.
Go throw a parade down my street.
that because you'd and I kind of found that out accidentally. I accidentally transferred
Okay.
one without creating the empty call number.
As
and it
long as
wasn't
they don't
necessary.
take it back and say, "Oh, that was a bug."
Yeah.
Nobody
But-
report that that's a bug.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But you
no
know,
reporting.
I don't know if there are any other workflows where you would need an empty call number. So I don't know, because there is a
Yeah.
bug about it that we've kind of
Yeah,
had
I
a little
can't
bit of
think of one.
discussion.
That's really the only time I could think of was whenever you were moving an
Transfer.
item from one call number to another. So I'm delighted. I'm up to rewrite my documentation now. Test what you said and rewrite it.
Yeah.
And then will you share it with the community when you do that?
Well,
I
I've got that documented.
Oh,
in
yeah.
my
There you
wiki.
go.
So I'll find the link.
Yeah, I was going to say our documentation, or at least the way I write, is a little idiosyncratic. So it might not be, welcome in the entire community, but if Eileen's got it, then, or Elaine's got it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, fantastic. I'm gonna read Chrissy's note. Okay, Chrissy says we just moved to 3.9 from 3.7. TCN search from the cataloging menu goes to the Angular TCN search. Great.
Excellent.
But if you still have
Yeah.
a favorites bar link to the traditional TCN search, you can still use that one as well. And it will bring it up in scrolled. And it'll bring it up in the traditional catalog. So you have the both worlds.
So I have to create a new link.
Yeah, you can't use your old bookmark if you've got
Okay.
it bookmarked.
Yeah, I have it bookmarked, so
Yeah.
maybe that's why I've been missing out.
I gave up on bookmarks. I just right click, open a new tab.
Yeah, me too. My bookmarks
Well,
are out of
I
control.
I control click on my bookmarks and opens in a new tab. So
Yeah.
a happy camper.
You
You don't have to keep opening the menu.
Well, thanks, Chrissy, for sharing that. Okay, Elaine's
Yeah,
got her
thank you, Chris,
documentation.
because I just tested it and you're right. So
Woohoo.
let me try the other way.
There we go.
Yeah, and that one goes into the traditional. So that's why I've been thinking we needed that to be addressed, but it has been. So cool. Thank you.
Something else to celebrate. I think you promised a parade.
Yes, yes. A little cold out there for me. Maybe I'll wait till warmer season.
Okay, the empty call numbers. I think I captured all of that. Let me go back to the editing call number view. Just needs to show the call number. Has this been documented in Launchpad? Do you know?
No, I have not done it. It's just one of those irritating things
Mhm.
that I keep saying, oh, I got to do a bug report on that, and I haven't done it yet. It's confusing too initially when you look at it because you think you've opened the wrong thing.
Agreed.
Well, there's a new bug in 3.10, and I have reported it. I can track it down if you need, where if you have the unified editor off, you can't save the call number now
What?
at all.
In
You have to have-
310,
And 310, yeah.
you cannot save.
It won't, the save buttons don't become active.
Just the call number?
Yeah, for just, if you have it so that the call number is on a separate tab,
Uh-huh.
you don't have the unified editor on, you can't. And a lot of our libraries don't have the unified editor on because they have so many holdings. It's more user friendly to have the separate. And that's also was a way to create a new item, a new alert, and a new
Right.
because you could save that item first, and then do it. But it's not letting you save. I need to do a little bit more testing on it, although I did report it. Let's see if I can find that.
I'm just going to put them on here. Testing is needed to compare
Mhm.
unified editor versus non-unified editor.
Yeah, separate tabs.
I'm sticking with non-unified.
This is Anita Brown in Indiana. Am I allowed to unmute and ask a question?
Of course you are.
I'm getting kind of excited about this unified and ununified. I was trying to type all of this in that I used to be able to bring a cart into my office, scan them into item status, maybe 10, 15, and then say I needed to edit all of those in the editor, item attributes editor. I could take the prefix off of new, and I could say, I could click, these 5 are kids' storybooks, these 3 are adult fiction for new shelf location. They're all no longer new books. So now I'm not able to see the actual book or check 3 books to say these are the adult fiction shelf. Is there a fix in progress for this, or is this involved with the unified editor? Because I have it showing all of the call numbers that I need to change, and then I need to choose the ones that I want to put on a new shelf location. Now I'm having to do them one at a time, basically. Or I can pull the fiction books from the item status screen and say I want to change all of these, but all 20 of them are no longer new. So there are a lot of things that impacted everything in the item status that I could change at one time.
Okay.
And that is that 310 or 3.9?
3.9.1.
Let me see. I think that you did. Did you do a Launchpad report on that? Because I think I saw that today or yesterday, but I haven't had a chance to test.
I have sent that into Indiana for a question, or that it's an issue for me. Does nobody else do these multiple edits? Do they just do all of them one at a time?
I do. I mean, I think people do multiple edits. I think that's.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I've got 310 up, which I'm just trying to figure out where I am. Let's see.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the last time I used that, because and it's not just that you can't change, like say that you want to change some of them to a different shelving location, but you can't see which items they are so that you know what you're choosing.
Correct. It will apply all. The other creepy thing is I feel like I think twice, I have seen a box to check in the shelving location screen. And it's like, okay, if it's there for others, not for me, maybe I need to do them 3 at a time, 5 at a time. But no, it will allow me to change. We have a branch. I can change the owning libraries, circulating libraries, but I can't choose the item that I want to apply this. It's going to apply it to all of them, unless I'm just doing something wrong.
Okay. I'm pausing because I think Elaine's testing this out.
Yeah, and I can't get it to. I can't get it to give me a list of shelving locations, but I've also got 2 different libraries chosen. Let me see if I can find a record that has multiple copies on for one library.
I thought they might update it if other people are doing multiple changes at the same time. So I'm trying to be patient. We just basically updated a month ago. But if it's not something that they're going to address, I need to come up with some other workarounds for that to speed
Well,
that process up.
I don't know that it's a question of whether or not it's going to be addressed, but when it would be
Yeah,
addressed.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what I usually do. I'll work around some of the ways that we used to do things, find another way until they address it. We're patient.
Well, and it's very helpful to have specific examples to document. Here's it is when you to put that into Launchpad so that when they're looking at fixing it, we'll know specifically how to test when it's been fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll leave that
Yeah.
there so that it's kind of a follow up for us too. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Thank
it's
you
certainly
for
not
all-
you. Yeah, it's certainly not unique to you.
Yeah,
You
I'm
can
not,
valid-
yeah, I'm not getting a list. When I click on shelving locations, I don't get a list to edit shelving locations in the holdings editor.
Mhm.
I'm not getting a list of shelving locations.
Also, it might be even bigger than just not being able to see the
Mhm.
items if you can't get the list.
So with the shelving locations, I've been noticing that if you're changing it, sometimes I have to hit clear for it to like give me a list.
Hmm.
But I have 2 items open in 3.9.1, and there are like little check boxes where you can indicate like if I want to change the shelving location on one copy, but like you said, there's no way to know which copy you're editing if you have like multiple. I'm going to assume that based on the barcodes, it's going to be in the order that it's listing. So like the
Mhm.
top barcode is going to be the top shelving location, if that makes sense. I can share my screen if that makes it easier.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not getting, when I try to edit a shelving location, I can't get the drop down menu to give me the shelving location.
We're just about at time, but if you don't mind sticking around, Elizabeth, to show what you're finding, and then I'll
Mhm.
put that in our notes. And I'm going to stop sharing mine, so you should be able to share
Mhm.
yours.
I wonder if that's because I'm.
It says host has disabled participants. Oh,
Okay.
I think I
I
need to
send
just
you something.
be.
I think that was about video. That's different than. Oh, here, I'm going to make you the host. All right, I'm making. Nope.
You could add me
wrong.
as a co-host. I don't want to steal all of your power.
Nope, you're going to be the host because that's the only button I've got right now.
Okay.
And if there we go.
List in 310. So that's I'll test that a little bit more.
Okay.
And do a bug report on that because that's a pretty high level problem.
It is. And I know we've been through this holdings editor screen so much. We keep requesting updates to the functionality just so that we can really get it to do what we want to. And I know we've been through this very clearly in stating that we wanted to be able to choose individually. I just don't know when
Right.
this changed. That's what I need to get back.
3.6, there was a list of items at the bottom of the screen that you could check and uncheck
Mhm,
to work
right.
with, and we don't have that anymore. Not even if you unify it.
Mm. I like that as a verb if you unify.
It looks like, let me see where.
Okay, if you click on one copy, Elizabeth, what happens on any of these things? Like under, I don't know, owning library or something. If you just click on, no, it still doesn't tell you what they are.
Yeah, so I would assume that based on the order of the barcodes, that this one is this one, and this one is this one. So if I wanted to change just this one,
If you look at the top of the screen, it tells you who owns which barcode.
Oh, yes, sorry. I'm not a
That's okay.
cataloger. I should have pre-tested this whole conversation.
Anita
But
wants you to go back and click on shelving location.
Okay. So,
Okay.
but now I can't designate, I want this
Right.
copy on this.
Exactly.
Because I hit clear.
Yeah.
If I didn't, it did give me this
list.
same layout here.
So if you just refresh the screen, what happens? Okay, there you go. And Anita says your boxes disappear in Unified.
Wait, which boxes? These?
I don't know.
So are you saying that the refresh brought the boxes back, not changing from the unified view?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm on Unified Holdings, and now when I click on it, I still have the boxes.
And see, I don't have the boxes, and I even have one now where I don't have, it just says 2 copies. It's not even it doesn't even give me the check boxes. I can't choose a shelving location.
That is my problem. So it possibly doing a refresh will bring those boxes.
Yes.
Well, you have made my day if it works.
Yep. I hope it
I hope
works.
it does.
Our fingers are crossed for you. Now you shouldn't have to do
I
that,
mean,
obviously.
actually, you've made my Christmas. This is
Oh.
a Christmas present here. Things have
Nice.
slowed down. My, carts just loaded into your office here. You don't like that look. Fantastic. Thank you, ladies. Thank
You're
you
so
all.
welcome. Thanks for
Welcome.
sharing the question. I'm sure this will help lots of people. Okay. Refreshing the screen will bring back boxes.
It does not in 310.
We'll bring back boxes in 3.9. Not in
And this-
I'm
So
still
what I'm
having-
on is 3.9.1. So I don't know if that matters.
3.10. Yeah, we'll make sure we're specific here.
I'll do more testing when I don't have my attention split.
Sure.
See if I'm not,
Bring back-
this
And I'm
is
going to say
something
bring back. I'm going to say specifically for shelving location too, because that's what we just tested. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that the others appear to be okay, but I'll test all of that tomorrow and see
Okay.
what's going on.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, we are at top of the hour. So Elizabeth, thank you for sharing your screen, and you can at this point stop the video if you'd like. And I think I should get these because it's on the Smiles Zoom account here.
I
And
did
thank you.
record to cloud, so you may get an email.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, so I'll get that through this because I'm using a shared Zoom account. All righty. Anita says, yeah, she's happy. All right. Well, we've stopped recording. I'll hang around for a few more minutes, as always. Afterwards, I always put a little buffer around these meetings if we want to keep chatting. I do wish you all the happiest of holidays. We'll be back in January.